My name is Ludovica Florenzano and I am part of the Cardiometabolic Health Corporate Affairs team at Eli Lilly. In my role, I focus on building and maintaining relationships with the various stakeholders of the diabetes community. This includes the international scientific societies and patient associations like the IDF Europe.
My name is Lea Leleta. I am currently 25 years old and living with type 1 diabetes 23. So I got it when I was 2. I don't remember that specific moment, but it's been a long way. My advocacy journey began maybe 3 years ago, and that happened with my bachelor thesis because I finished visual arts and communication design. And what pushed me towards that was one of my professors who told me you should make something that you know everything about. On the one hand, I was a bit sad that might be diabetes. I felt like I don't want people to look at me like diabetes is everything that I am. But in the same time, then I started doing the research in my country, and I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I live in Sarajevo, and I saw that we are not talking about diabetes type 1. So like for 20-something years, I didn't know anyone who has diabetes in my country. And then I started researching a bit more about kids because I remembered the time that I got diabetes. I was a kid, I was small, and I saw that we don't have any literature for children. And that is actually how I started this whole advocacy. And after that, the ideas kept coming up. And I always try to combine design and arts with sharing our voice about diabetes.
At Lilly, we believe that advocacy is crucial because it allows to amplify the voices of people living with diabetes and ensure that their needs and rights are heard and addressed. This award aligns with Lilly's commitment to empower individuals and communities to improve the lives of people living with diabetes. At the same time, we hope that this award will also push and motivate other advocates to join their efforts to have a united front on the fight against diabetes.
Receiving the award means a lot, and there's also that factor that I didn't necessarily expect it, even though I know I've been putting a lot of work and effort, but I think everyone who is in this field of diabetes advocates and who is trying to raise a voice does it. For a long time I've been trying to make diabetes so visible and so normal that people stop staring at the devices, and I mainly do it for younger children. And once when you get the recognition for the work you do, it feels amazing. I mean, it really gives you a big push to do even more. I remember getting the email, reading it. It really gave me immediately so many more ideas, and not only on a local level of Bosnia, but I would really like to do as much as I can wherever I can.
Thank you, Lea, for joining us, and congratulations on your big achievement. Can you tell us more about what inspired you to become an advocate for people living with diabetes?
First of all, thank you so much. I think it might be the fact that I'm coming from a little country, Bosnia and Herzegovina in Sarajevo. For so many years, over 20 years, I didn't know anyone living with type 1 diabetes. And then based on my first project, which was the children's book for children with diabetes type 1, I met so many people, and it was just a push into the diabetes advocacy to do more and more projects, and mostly the creative ones, because that's a part of who I am, and I think it's a very different approach of sharing awareness about diabetes type 1.
And you're mentioning your projects. Can you tell us more about those, about the topics that you're particularly passionate about?
Firstly, it started with that book, and it's mainly because I got diabetes when I was 2 years old, and I did some research, and there's no literature at all in Bosnia about diabetes type 1 for the youngest ones. So that was my first initiative, because they are the ones who have to go through this. To understand it at such a young age, it's a bit difficult. So I tried to remember how I felt when I was 6 years old and how I lived with diabetes. And the whole book is more about empathy. I'm not a doctor, I'm just someone who lives with diabetes for 23 years. But after that, I decided to do some more projects, again, based on art and design. One of them was a gallery exhibition. How I feel, and that was more about really my feelings, because till that year I always had that one phrase that I was saying, I'm the same as everyone else, and then I noticed that I'm not, but in a good way, in a positive way. and that people should know it, that people should know that every achievement that I make, that everything that I do, that there is a lot of effort, that sometimes I've been pushing through things even though my blood sugar was low or high, or that my whole day was like up, down, and that really makes your body feel tired. So I wanted to share that part of the story, that it's not always easy and that people should kind of appreciate people around them, whatever they do. There was also a game which was based on the book, and generally I'm trying really on a creative way to try to express as much as I can.
Thank you for providing your very, very personal perspective as to why it is very important to engage from a young age. And you mentioned your How I Feel campaign, which had very different target audiences. Can you tell us more about your objective in that?
So that was intentional. I wanted to change up the first project, which was based on children, and that's the first time that I've met so many people living with diabetes in Bosnia. We went to 11 cities with 11 different associations, and it's the first time that I became aware of how many people have this condition. And I noticed a lot of teenagers, a lot of them who are finishing high school, entering university, and I thought, okay, they reacted good to the book, but maybe they would like to see something else, something that we didn't do. And I was at that time in my master classes, and I had a class contemporary art, and we all had to do some project, and I got the topic the body. And again, I thought how to combine diabetes with what I'm studying, what I'm doing with art and design. And that's where I decided to, for the first time, to step in front of the camera, not be behind. And I decided to show these parts that make us feel vulnerable from time to time. It's not always easy to show your insulin pump or the tubing or sensors. Maybe sometimes I'm tired of someone looking and the feeling that I always need to explain myself. And I thought that would be a good motivation also to really push it out so people can really see it, see that it's not always easy, that it also sometimes hurts. That those needles are like 9 millimeters, 6 millimeters, that we need to do these things as well. It's not only, okay, you have it and what now? And I really try to attract a bit older population, not only people with diabetes, again, also people that don't have diabetes, but that can bring it closer to them to actually understand what it feels like, at least a bit. So again, I try to play a bit with empathy of the people to understand and to reach out and ask more questions and learn.
And from what you're saying, your initiatives are very different among each other. So why do you think it is important to adopt different and innovative approaches to ensure that advocacy is meaningful?
Everything is changing. Technology is also changing, generally people. We are living in a fast world. But at the same time, I think if you do one thing over and over again, it might become too repetitive and boring. And that's why I think it's good to find always new ways. It's very hard to come up with new things, but maybe just to find something and readjust it and do it differently. Also, the book that I did is not the first children's book made about diabetes for children, but it's different because a person wrote it and illustrated it who has diabetes. Yeah. There are photographs, all different kinds of photographs in contemporary art, but there are rare people who try to present diabetes in that form. I think we can talk about diabetes. Anyone who works in any kind of field, you can find a way to show people that we are everywhere, all around the world, and we do everything and we achieve so much. And I think it's very good to always kind of change it and do as much as we can in all different kinds of projects and see which one works the best and what people interest the most.
So what's next for you on your advocacy journey? Are there any specific objectives or projects that you're looking forward to?
Probably also a lot of new things that are coming up, but one of the projects I did, the book, I noticed at the IDF Youth Leadership Lab in Serbia this year that many participants were happy about the book and they thought that they would need something similar in their country as well. So I'm probably going to work together with IDF to see what's the best way, if we can translate the book and get it out, and what is a way for children to reach the book, as many as they can, to kind of move out from Bosnia but to get it to other countries. So that is one of the projects. And we just finished shooting a movie in Sarajevo in Bosnia, which is called Ali, which means but, and it was like there's always this but in diabetes, like we can do everything but we need a bit of support, but we need a bit of empathy. And that's going to be published now on 14th November. But definitely I was thinking most probably I would love to continue with my journey with the book. Especially nowadays, everyone is spending so much time on the screen, especially kids, so I think that's a great way to engage and to raise awareness about diabetes. And I believe that there will be many more different creative solutions and projects that I'll be happy to do, and this time maybe on a bigger level. See how I can interact with other people, other diabetes advocates that I've met in Europe, and how we can do something together. So that are some of my goals.
The recommendation that we want to give is to stay passionate, stay informed, stay committed, but most importantly, never ever underestimate the impact of your efforts, because together we can work towards building a world where people with diabetes have all the necessary support and resources.
Definitely do not be shy, be loud, help others, because I think we are the ones who are making the first footsteps for the other ones who are maybe first getting into this whole world, and be proud that we're different. I've been telling myself for way too long that I'm the same as everyone else, but for the last couple of years I'm saying no, I'm not the same as everyone else, and I need to be proud of that, because everyone who lives with type 1 diabetes knows how it is in the morning when you wake up and it doesn't go as planned, and you need to fulfill everything else that your colleague or someone else has to do the same, and you know that you need to put much more effort to achieve the same goals, or even better, to kind of prove yourself. So generally be proud to be different, and to not be shy to raise your voice.